Hey there, thanks so much for clicking on our video. I'm Melissa.
And I'm Ashley, and we are the hosts of Bible and Banter.
Bible and Banter is a space for real conversations through the lens of faith.
We hope to be a reminder that we serve a good God
who left us a living word
to tackle all that life throws our way.
Hey, so let's get into the video. All right, so today we're going to be talking about learning to let go. And that can be in several different reasons or several different ways. Maybe it's letting go of a past relationship. Maybe it's letting go of past hurts. Maybe it's letting go of, a situation that you may not have had control of. Just any kind of negativity or things that are going against where you're headed. Learning to let it go. Learning to move forward and break past that. We're going to give you a few tips and tricks on just some maybe advice on how to move past this thing, because I understand as someone who definitely, not sponsors, but definitely supports going to counseling and getting therapy and things like that. Sometimes things that have happened to you in your past are very hurtful, and it is hard to let go of those things. And sometimes you don't want to, because you want to remember why that person or that thing that hurt you, because it helps to keep you moving forward. But at times we get to unhealthy places in our life because we haven't let go of that certain thing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to kick it off. Basically, one thing that I just want to remind you of, if you are in this process of learning to let go, is just knowing that it is a day by day type of thing.
Absolutely.
You're not going to wake up one day and just be completely healed and transformed and changed all in a moment's notice. And you don't have to be. That's the thing. It's a process, and little by little you're gonna see how you change, but that transformation starts from the inside out.
That's the key right there.
It starts from the inside out, and it's a perspective shift. Always, it's a perspective
shift. Always.
Instead of thinking this thing happened to me, start thinking about what have I allowed in my life to get to this certain point. And now I know this is not all encompassing, but just on certain things, I'm thinking relationships, situations that we put ourselves in that may not have been the healthiest. What did I allow within my life, or allow myself to be involved in, that got me to this place of maybe bitterness, resentment, or any kind of negative emotion like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And also just like making that shift of, like she said, like not focusing on like, wow, why did this happen to me? But like think of like, wow, what can this now do for me? What does now having this time freed up, now not being attached to this person, being laid off and no longer being attached to this job, whatever the situation may be, no longer being attached to a certain friendship. Like now, not just why did this happen, but from this, what can I gain? Like what does this mean now? Does this mean now that I no longer have the distractions and I can focus on the business, or focus on my relationship with God, or focus on I really wanted to start doing this, but because I was so consumed, now I can focus on this. So not just like, why did this happen to me, but also why did this happen in that what was God trying to free me from, to free up space for, or free up time for?
That's good, Ashley. It's letting go of that victim mentality, and
that victim mentality.
It's the victim mentality, and now we're taking accountability, of our actions. We can't help what happens to us, but what we can control is how we react to that thing.
Exactly.
And for me, I've walked through this season like over and over and over again, and I am still kind of processing certain things, but I think what's helped me to get to the point where I'm at now is, one, finding out who I was. My past, I have a lot of just like, I think I struggled a lot with codependency and depending on others, just period. And that could be romantic or platonic relationships, but I let those things define who I was. So it became me and that person, not just me. So whenever I didn't have that person, I literally just didn't even know what I liked. So having that separation allowed me to, one, figure out what I like, what I don't like, what I'm wanting going forward specifically, as opposed to what is this person like, or what would this person want from me, and trying to become that, because I didn't know who I was. And so I think in this process of letting go, it's a blessing in disguise, because you get to have that intentional time with yourself to learn to let go of that hurt or whatever had happened to you in that past job. You know, maybe you had a boss that was super toxic and very hurtful towards you and said maybe hurtful things to you, and not allowing that to affect you in the next job. And thinking that, oh, it's going to be the same thing, or even seeking that out whenever you are looking for it, which sounds strange, but the same thing works for toxic relationships. You think you're getting out of a certain thing, and then you end up in the same situation, seemingly with the same person.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about letting go is that it can be, there's so many different facets of it. Like just like she said, with letting go and finding like having found her identity.
Yes.
Like for me, even if we're looking at jobs, whenever I experienced being laid off, the beauty that came from my period of being unemployed and not working for somebody was that I learned to, and just through spiritually growing, like I learned to let go of what my idea of success was at the time. You know, my idea of success was climbing the corporate ladder.
Ooh, yeah.
So whenever I was laid off, it's this feeling of like failure, right?
Yes.
But like in so many ways, God revealed to me like that's no longer my idea of success. And now what I see for myself is no longer being on someone else's schedule. So no longer being like held to this notion of I need to climb this corporate ladder, because now I'm like, I need to leave this corporate ladder.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm diving off of this bad boy.
Yes.
And so what it helped me do was then when God did bless me with a job, like whenever I never let it just really, really get to me, because I'm no longer like, oh, I need for my boss to see how great I am, because I need for them to want to promote me, because that's no longer my goal. So, you know, not that I don't work hard, and if promotions come, that's great. However, I'm not about to be up all night wondering, like, you know what I mean, and staying up all night and coming up with these calculations, because at the end of the day, this is now just what's funding my dream. And so I'm going to pour all that I have in this side thing. I'm going to do my job and do it well, but I'm not going to, that's no longer my identity.
Exactly.
So
it goes back to exactly what you were saying, what we were saying, a mindset shift. Sorry.
Yes.
A mindset shift is all of the difference. And it's seemingly simple, but it's like within that one shift of where Ashley realized who I am is not what I do.
Exactly.
Completely changed the game for her.
Completely changed the game.
She's still a hard worker. You're still gonna be going for your goals, but you're no longer gonna be defined by how your boss, another human, will treat you. Or, you know, if they're promoting you, if they're not promoting you, if this thing happens for you, if it doesn't happen for you. It doesn't mean you're a failure or a success either way. Like, it's just
absolutely.
It's funding the dream for her.
It's funding the dream. It's funding the dream, which ultimately is creating content that glorifies God.
Yes.
So which is why it's tied to my purpose and tied to my calling. And so now if I'm meeting somebody, I'm not, oh, I'm Ashley who works for such and such company and does such and such. Now it's like, no, I'm a child of God. The type of content I create is to glorify him. So you know what I mean? And so now my focus is like I'm meant to be a light in dark places. That's all I'm going to focus on. So even in my job, you know, if someone is reaching out for prayer, to me, that's more fulfilling. And I know that I'm where I'm supposed to be. I know that I am at this company not to climb this ladder, but to be a light. And so if someone is saying, hey, offline, do you mind if I call and reach out to you, a coworker, you know, reaching out, and what they ask for is prayer, to me, that means that I am successful, because they have recognized that that is what you can come to me for. So
and like we said before, it's all a process. It's not like one day it just all, you know, we woke up and we were completely like in this mindset shift. It's just a constant, I like to call it a constant just rebirth of your own self, or not a rebirth, I would say more of like a reimagination of who you are.
Evolution, like you're evolving
constantly, and I don't think you have to remain the person that someone else saw you as, or remain the person that you know, you've always been.
Let go of your old identity. That's the hardest thing to let go of, honestly, is letting go of what the box you've allowed people to place you in.
It's exactly that. And if it no longer serves you, bye. Listen, I don't have to remain that person anymore. I don't care how many, and that's why I'm saying when you evolve, of course, naturally it just people gonna fall to the wayside. I think it's
Yeah.
something we should expect
Yeah.
as one, believers, and then two, as evolving women of God.
Yeah.
You're going to, one, not attract people like you used to attract back in that older version of yourself.
Right.
And
Come
the
on
good
now.
part is you're about to now get more people who are on the same page as you,
Yeah.
who are you're gonna find that they just fall into your life, and you're like, wait a minute. But it's all intentional, and I think that that's the beautiful part about who we are as humans is we don't have to stick to one version of ourselves or remain in one box of even what someone imagines you to be. You can be, it sounds so cliche, but you can be whoever you want to be. And if that's a woman of God tomorrow after you just turned up at the club, you know what I mean?
Right.
You like, listen, that was a mistake. I really want to turn to God now.
Yeah.
You can be that woman of God. Who's
Absolutely.
saying anything against that?
Absolutely.
Okay, you messed up. Everyone has a past.
Come on.
Every single person you see
Absolutely.
has a past, and no one who's a real Christian is going to tell you that they haven't messed up at least once or maybe a billion times.
Listen, if the disciples messed up.
Okay, no one here is perfect, and so I think that in that process of learning to let go, let's give ourselves the ability to not time ourselves or expect a certain healing within a short period of time, because
Absolutely.
it's just a constant. It's a as you evolve, you continue to heal from that, restore from that.
Yeah.
And maybe you take on some more pain or grief, because that's just how life goes. There's ups, there's downs, but through it all, we know the constant is Jesus Christ, and so that's the beautiful part. He is the anchor to your life. So
Absolutely.
everyone else around you may change, situations may change, but he remains the same, and he always will. The same yesterday, today, forevermore. So you may see Ashley not today, you may see someone else tomorrow, but what isn't changing is our relationship with God, who God is and who he's called you to be. So step into her, embrace her.
Exactly. Like, you know, let go of unattainable expectations that you've set on yourself.
Yes.
Let go of all of these stringent timelines that you gave yourself, where you're like, by the time I'm 30, I need to do this. By the time I'm, have goals, but give yourself grace, like, and allow for life to happen, and let go of that notion that just because you didn't get it by this time doesn't mean that it's not going to happen for you. You know what I mean? And just accept, and that's where you start moving with these mindset, like shift and let go of this thought of everything not achieved is a failure.
Wow. Good.
No,
That's
let it
good.
go. Instead, realize, okay, I'm still in my preparation phase. Like, you just need to shift. Like, okay, there's still things that God wants me to learn from this phase. There's still things that I need to learn from this. There's still things that I need to do here. And just because I haven't achieved it yet doesn't mean I failed. It just means that I'm still on my journey to that destination, right?
Yes.
And so, and we want just like let go with everything. Like, we don't want you to think that this is just like, oh, only specific to relationships or only specific to like cut people off. No, whatever isn't serving you, whatever is bringing you down and dampening your spirit, like, it's time for you to assess that and let it go, whether it's relationship wise, and like she said, that's whether it's friendships that are toxic, because friendships can be more toxic than relationships, than romantic relationships. So, it's just figuring out, what do I need to let go? Is there a mindset that I need to let go? Is there a perspective that I need to let go? Is there a negative emotion that it's time for me to finally let go? Like doubt, don't hold on to that. If you're still doubting yourself and walking in imposter syndrome, like, let's start letting go of the lies that you've accepted as truth and start digging into the word for his truth about who you are.
Yes, exactly. In the process of letting go, I know we're talking a lot more on the negative and toxic, but also let's talk about just naturally outgrowing. I feel like
that's good.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be drama, it doesn't have to be a big falling out that has happened between you and a friend or you and a coworker. Sometimes absolutely. You just literally, y'all aren't on the same page anymore, and when it happens, like your conversations start getting kind of not weird, but it's just like more distant. You see little changes within that person, and they may not necessarily be a bad thing, but you don't really align with the direction they're going. So I want to also talk about that and learning. It's hard to let go of those friendships too, because you're thinking, well, maybe it's something on my end, or maybe I believe the way life is going for me right now, and I haven't been alive all that long, but I've been alive long enough to realize that I think things come in seasons. So maybe for a season you may not be as close with a friend that you used to be super close with, and maybe in a future season that might change, but I don't think that it's something you should have to force at all. And so if something feels forced, this is again in the process of letting go. Like, we don't have to have any drama about it. Like, it's just, you know.
I love that you said that. Like, I am so about like keeping myself out of situations that are forced.
Yeah.
Like, if I have to force conversation, if I have to, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, you know
like,
what?
Why are we doing this?
I'm good. And it's not gonna be a big falling out.
No.
I'm just gonna let go.
It's just a slow let go, like, and
just
that's the thing, like, can we just normalize not being mad about that? Because I think the petty people have allowed us to feel like, nah, girl, you need to go talk to her. Why did she not respond to your text message? Why is she not trying to follow up with you? Did you see on her Instagram page she went out with so and so, but didn't invite you? It's like,
exactly.
Okay, but even if I wasn't fine, I probably would have felt awkward there too. Like,
the conversation wouldn't have been something that I could even connect with.
If you really think about it, actually they were doing you a favor. It's like there was nothing coming of this, so let's just part ways. If I see you, I see you. If I don't, cool, bye. I want to just make it as well-rounded as possible. Hopefully we were able to lift your spirits a little with this video. We know that the process of letting go is so much easier said than done. So that's why we come on here. We want to encourage y'all, one, to go to the Lord always first, then to community, and just finding a way to process these things with yourself. If you're like me and you are just trying to figure out yourself, right? And just trying to figure out, what do I like? Take the time to see when you feel the happiest. Like, who is around you? What are you doing? What is happening? Like, how are you feeling in that moment? And then try to do more than that. Try to do more of that. It's like there's no I don't know. We don't have to complicate things. Like, I have a good time whenever I'm walking or I'm going on a hike. I feel the freest, or I feel like so happy and motivated. So go on more hikes then, you know? That's the process. But yeah, thank you so much for watching our video. As always, feel free to leave us a comment in the description, a comment in below. Letting us know, one, if you want to talk about what you're letting go of in life, then feel free to put that down in the comments. Or if you have some advice for the ladies in the comments on ways that you were able to kind of let go of certain things in your life, then let us know.
Or even let us know of, in the process of letting go of something, and you start discovering that you have more time for this, that, or the other. Like, we want to hear it. I know whenever I let go of, you know, a toxic relationship, all of a sudden, what I started filling that space with was, I got more involved in my church, and next thing I know, I got more involved with my content creation. And I began having more creativity, and so like I put my energy into that, and it took my mind off of focusing on what I quote unquote lost, because I was focusing more on, this is what I gained though. So,
and you know what, actually, it gets to a point sometimes, like, you might be upset about a situation, say for instance, again, that relationship at the beginning, but it gets to a point, it's not that you numb out, but it's more so you don't even, it's not you don't care, but you really don't.
Like, not that you don't care, but you
really don't. It's this used to affect me so much. That's when you know you've really healed from that or moved on, let go. Because when a situation doesn't irk you the way it used to, or trigger you in the way that it used to,
you unbothered.
That's how you unbothered. That's the word I was looking for.
You are unbothered.
When you're unbothered, it's like, now I really know I'm done. Bye. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not gonna allow this thing to get in the way of me and my peace and my freedom and my what's
you have
going
no
on
more
for
real
me.
estate in my mind.
You cannot live rent free here anymore. You got kicked out.
Listen, you've been evicted.
You have been evicted.
The notice has been served.
So thank you guys so much for watching our video. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and of course share our content.
Please.
We would love for y'all to do that. If you know of someone who could benefit from these talks, then please feel free to send them our videos. But be sure to tune in next Sunday for another real and relevant topic. We are talking about everything. We're talking about friendships, relationships,
to careers, and navigating corporate America as a Christian. Don't do it. But in the meantime and in between time, please remember that Jesus loves you.
We love you.
And you are more than enough.
Bye.